The second element that we want to discuss right now very quickly is listening. And I put it this way: listen behind what you hear the other person feeling. See, we only hear with our ears, but we listen with our minds. How do you tune in? I call this concerned listening. It's a feeling nature. It's kind of like Thomas Gordon wrote about this in his book, Parent Effectiveness Training and Leadership Effectiveness Training. He talked about it as active listening. Have you heard of active listening at all? All right, I go a little bit further than that, and that has to do with the concern we have for other people, or maybe the compassion or the empathy could be as well. But how to listen is a key ingredient. Listening with 100% attention is difficult. I know. I've lost all of you at one time or another since I began speaking. I mean, once, twice, 15 times, 25 times. You're gone. You're home. You're thinking about tonight. You're at dinner, whatever it is. And it's natural. Listening with 100% presence is not an easy thing to do. Let me ask you a question. Do you know when you have someone's attention? Sure you do. Do you know when you don't? Do you think it works the other way around? Of course it does. So the way we connect with people is a key factor in how we do it. I was in Las Vegas a while back, and I was getting ready to fly back to Palm Springs. And sitting next to this guy, and he was sitting right next to a very stately-looking woman. And he was talking and talking and talking, and she was very patiently listening. And he kept talking and talking and talking, and she was listening. And he kept talking and talking and talking. She said 3 magic words: "Tell me more." So he did. He kept talking and talking. And at the end of 8 minutes, I lost track of the word "I" he used after 58. And she had only used the word "I" twice. Mostly she was talking about him. How many shows did you see in Vegas? How much money did you win? Where did you stay? Where are you traveling to? Tell me about your children. Where do you buy the suit? What do you do for a living? Talking about the individual. And then he got up to the flight attendant to board the plane, and he said, "I just met the most interesting conversationalist." When someone asks you about your children, what are they waiting and begging for you to ask them about their kids? Yeah. When someone asks you what you do for a living, what are they wanting you to ask them? When someone asks you, have you gone on a vacation this year? Have you traveled anywhere this year? What would they like you to ask them? Listening. We only hear with our ears, but we listen with our minds. It is absolutely critical. Cavett Robert put it this way: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So what are we saying about people? In my book, Leadership Above and Beyond the Crowd, there's a segment. I've asked for support from a lot of people on this book, Alan Bean and Howard Behar and Scott Kastner, Nancy Kirchen, Howard Putnam. This is a statement by Nancy on listening. She's with the Disney company. And let me just read through this real quickly here. She said, leaders lead by example. You can watch them get results. A leader is someone whom you admire and aspire to be like. Managers, on the other hand, make a solid connection with people, and doing this takes a lot of listening. Listening goes deeper than just hearing. You need to get to know someone before you can manage. You must have a variety of people to pull from to build a top-flight team. You pull the right people together and help them find their strengths, and everyone has strengths, some of which are not even seen by the person himself. A manager helps to locate those strengths and bring them to light. I like what she said. Vern Nelson attended a couple of my programs, and he related what I'm about to share with you with regard to the SIP principle. And he said, Jim, I don't have to fire anyone anymore. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I'm paying attention to the SIP principle. I said, explain it to me. He said, well, the old school is you hire someone and you find out how smart they are. The new school of thought is you hire someone and you find out where they are smart. He said, everyone is smart somewhere. Put them in a spot of something they enjoy doing, and they will tend to excel. It's kind of like a manager's responsibility or a leader's responsibility or a communicator's responsibility to bring out qualities in people. Let me ask you a quick question. I mean, the lights are a little bright, but let me ask you, sitting in the front row here, do you know people who love you? You do, okay. Do you know people who don't love you quite as much? Maybe so, a little bit. So you contain positive qualities and you contain maybe some negative qualities. You contain the highs and you contain some lows. You contain some of the goods and some of the bads. So if I, as a manager, don't see the understanding, the compassion, the interest, the insight that you have, who owns the problem? I do. He possesses them, but I am not able to see them. That's what we're talking about with listening. We have to listen with more than our ears. We listen with our minds.